Captain's Log Supplemental.
Hey Jeremy, you know those race cars you're busy building?
Yeah, I do. I
You,
got one
you,
that I'm looking at every day.
you know what I don't see you working on?
You don't see me working on the amazing Sentinel system yet.
That's true. It would take all of 10 minutes for you to have one.
And it's very quick and easy to install.
It is. It is. And we could watch you when we are not at the race with you and see how you're doing. And then we can call you up when you get out of the car and tell you everything you did wrong.
And I love that because so many years I've been driving and not been able to see what I'm doing.
I know.
And now we can.
I know. You know what I'd like to do with the video? My most favorite thing is I take the video and I load it on YouTube and then I send it to my coach and say, look at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. Look at this one lap and tell me what I can do better. And every single time, you know what they say?
Everything.
Exactly. Precisely. So with the Sentinel system, you get instantaneous feedback plus useful feedback that unfortunately is accurate for my driving.
I think it's accurate for all of our driving.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. But you need to get one in your car, sir.
Yes, I do. And with the discount code that you're going to tell everybody, they can save 10% on this awesome system.
Yep. Trouble free. I haven't had an issue getting video every time we've gone out with the Sentinel. It's always worked. Can't say the same for some of the other systems we've tried. So I don't know. It's on the podcast notes down there. Don't do it while you're driving though. We like to have our listeners live. It's good.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I am not the host for this episode. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicki.
I'm Kaan.
And hosting and guesting would be
Jeremy.
That's right. Jeremy Hall, this is your life. Anyway, we did the first 3 or 4 or 5 episodes. I don't remember how we broke it up, where we kind of said who we are and what we were doing. And then we waited like 4 more years and we redid it again. And then we said, hey, it's been 4 more years, so let's do it again. So if you already know who we are, thank you for downloading. We appreciate it very much. But since I know the stories, and since Vicki knows the stories, and Jeremy knows almost all the stories, we wanted to get an unbiased interviewer, and we couldn't find one. So we got Kaan.
I'm only
Thanks for
slightly
joining us,
biased. Yeah, anytime, guys. I enjoy it coming on, sharing with you guys, and being a part of the Garage Heroes in Training.
Yep. Nearly adopted. He's too smart,
Almost.
though. Too smart, though.
Yeah, every time we send him the adoption papers, he sends them right back.
They keep saying, I am over 18. I can say no. We keep saying, oh, forget it. I was going to get political. We're not going there.
You don't.
Anyway.
You don't want my bills, Bill.
No. Indeed. All right. So in theory, I'm not going to say anything, but we all know that's not going to happen. So come on,
Right.
do you want to take the lead?
Yeah. So let's talk about. Okay. So the document that Bill sent out to everybody, I'm not going to throw it away.
Yes, you are.
But I kind of
we all
want
know that.
to. I kind of want to sort of rearrange it. So let's talk about your racing history and where you started. And then I'm going to throw more curveballs after that. That one's the straight pitch.
Who's
Santa
gonna go
Jeremy.
first?
It's only you this time.
It's only you, man.
We're just
picking on
peanut
you.
gallery.
Oh, it's
Bald,
just me.
Just you,
yeah,
Santa
bald and the
Jeremy.
beautiful Santa beard. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we talked about this a few years ago, like Bill said earlier. So 2006-ish, I met a guy and I was invited to come do a motorcycle track day. Fell in love with that and kind of went into amateur motorcycle racing. Did that for
Okay.
a little while and moved away from the South. So we were living in Louisiana at the time. And so I was doing everything in Louisiana and Texas. And then we moved back up here to New Hampshire. So that kind of went on the back burner for quite a few years. And then in 2016, 17, somewhere in that area. It's been so long. I don't remember. A friend of mine had raced lemons back in 12, 13, and 14 and had to race for a couple of years. So he was like, hey, we're going to get the race car going again. So you want to come race lemons with us? It's like, why not? Let's give it a shot. So I started racing lemons, loved it, and been doing it ever since.
Okay. So there is a section on here about goals. When you first started, was there any thought about goals, or you were just like, I'm down for the ride?
I'm down for the ride. My goal is to not crash and be a polite driver and consistent driver on track. That was about it.
Okay, when you started.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
And then he got a BMW.
Right. And it threw his turn signals away, broke the turn signal stock off. Oh, that's what they do in the street cars. Sorry.
No, my street car, BMW race car, will still have directionals on the racetrack.
All right. All right.
Well, one of them anyway.
So, did you meet your goals of being a polite driver and all that? Like, I'm trying to get to the evolution of Jeremy, the noob lemons racer, to today.
Holy crap. I did. First race, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified. I'm like, what am I doing out here? There are
Really?
17 million cars out here. Everyone's passing me. I'm passing other cars. Like, I had no idea what was going on. The
Where
first
was
it?
race weekend was just like
Where was it?
overwhelming. New Hampshire.
Okay. So it's
New
crowded.
Hampshire.
100 and
Like 18 or so.
no, I think we had 127.
Oh, so they broke the rule again, but that's okay.
My first race at New Hampshire. So it was an incredibly overwhelming weekend. I went in there with no real hopes of doing much of anything. Obviously, my first time, I'm not one of those people that think I'm the greatest thing in the universe. So I had no big chip on my shoulder going into the weekend. I just wanted to stay, clean and positive and have a good time and, not hit anybody, not cut anybody off. And I believe that I did that very well because I was asked to come back the following race season and race with them that following season as well.
Okay. Bill's typing.
Bill's typing. So moving forward with all the stuff I've done in between, with the exception of one incident that actually, both cars were on track, but it technically wasn't my fault. The people that crashed me were politely asked not to return to the series that I was crashed in. And but other than that, I have not had any contact. I have, very few times cut people off and given a big wave. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were going to do that. Come into the pits, found them, had discussions, hey, I whatever the case may be. And I try to be as efficient as I can in endurance racing.
I need to fulfill my sniper role. When you got into your accident, what kind of car were you in?
Uh-oh.
A really fast one.
What was the make of the car? I believe is
The
the question.
the make of the car that hit me and
No,
put me
no,
into the
the make of your
wall
your
was
car. Make of
so
your
the
car was what?
vehicle I was in was a E36 BMW. I was
Ah,
invited out to Pittsburgh to drive that car, and
did you have your
we
blinker on?
I had my directional on, but he didn't see it. He must not have seen it, or he was aiming for it. I don't know.
Probably both.
Yeah. So I was in a BMW high speed crash at pit race. Those of you that know pit race, it's a very fast track. Yeah, I mean, other than that incident, been very clean. No other incidents. A little rub and racing here and there, but for the most part, I try to stay as positive and polite and clean on track while continuing to make up spots and progress and move forward in the ranks.
Okay. I'm going to channel my inner Scott Robertson and ask the goals that you've set, do they fulfill you as a race car driver?
So I'm going to say yes because I love endurance racing.
Okay.
So with um, in a very nice way, um, one of our awesome guests that we have on, Ross Bentley,
Uh-huh.
in a very nice way, told me to pull my big boy pants up and get on the racetrack and go 10 tenths. So eventually, one of these days, I will do that. But I am an endurance racer, and that's just what I love, and I enjoy doing it. I can go out and I can turn a lot of laps and stay within a second of each other, managing traffic. Be out for 2 hours and just turn a lot of quick enough laps to move the car forward in the in places.
Uh, the
And it
goals
is
you
fulfilling.
set. Okay. My thing is the goals that you set for yourself as a noob
Yes.
don't scratch the same itch I have. And I just wanted to make sure that it scratched the itch that you have. Now, Ross Bentley is not wrong. You need to put your big boy pants on. But you, 10 tenths in endurance racing is different from 10 tenths in a sprint race.
Correct.
But at the same time, if you're not doing 10 tenths in your endurance racing, he was right. Mr. Bill, would you like to take a shot from the back?
Oh,
Uh,
well, I would like to look at Jeremy's goals for this year, and
Right.
I believe they do not correlate with the story that I'm hearing right now, Santa Jeremy.
Yeah.
Hey, this year hasn't started yet, so
I know, but you're
those.
doing the whole, I'm just the pretty girl who wants to go around a lot, and I just want to drive fast, and not too fast though, because I don't want to get the reputation. That's not exactly what the goals you put forth for this year were, as they've been pasted into the document in the background while I'm doing my sniper role.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember what I put in for goals. I don't have my goal sheet in front of me.
Five
It's
endurance races, 60 days on track, racing
Yep.
license, instruct 18 events,
Okay.
coach kids with baseball, get under
Yep.
200 pounds,
Yep.
more events with team and friends, take 1 second off best lap at all races, and do the Lucky Dog race in VIR.
Copy.
There you go.
it's really hard to meet your goals if you don't know what they are. Just
So
remember that.
It's always a
correct.
surprise when we do the goal
So yeah. So
review.
this year I am gonna push it a little bit more. I we've had a lot of good years, a lot of clean years, a lot of fun years. So this year, I feel is a year that we need to kind of push a little bit more, get to that next level of the push, shall we say, on track.
So
How do you define that, Jeremy?
But I'm also older now. Well, I mean, older than I was, 15 years ago. And I
or
have kids,
yesterday.
and yesterday,
Yeah.
and I have kids, so that self-preservation thing is always right here. When you got four cars going into the corner, and I know I can go on the inside and take them, that self-preservation button kicks in, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just get them on the next turn. So there is that.
So
Yeah.
So you've
Go
got
ahead, Bill.
sorry, Con. I told you I couldn't be quiet the whole time. We all knew that wasn't going to happen.
Mhm.
I
So
was well aware.
yeah, I know no surprise faces on this podcast. So Jeremy, endurance racing philosophically, you fit right in with our group. We who knows, there may be an official adoption soon coming for the Garage Heroes in Training. But we all leave a little bit, especially at our age,
Yeah.
especially. So we all leave a little bit. And then to compound that, you are an instructor with extreme experience. Highly recommended. Unless you have big feet, don't get in a Ferrari. Which automatically you have a car with fantastic capabilities, yet you are primarily responsible to make sure that the car gets back. So you rein in those capabilities. So
Yes.
you're constantly precluding finding where the limit is with almost everything you do on track. So what are you going to do to find out what Jeremy's capable of? Do we need to get you to get sprint racing, or do we need to get you to go time attack, time trials? When's Jeremy gonna? Because you never go off the track
Will
ever, and don't spin, and don't hit anybody, and don't hit anything, and leave all this room.
I do. I leave a lot of room.
I
But
know.
with that said, um, you know, the crash weekend in that BMW,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
challenged me.
I did.
That car gets about an hour and 40-ish minutes on a tank of fuel. The previous weekend in a AER event.
Yep.
Uh,
On one wheel.
I did what, 2 hours and 50 minutes, Bill?
I don't think it was quite that
2:45?
long, but it was up there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was over 2.5 hours. I think it was 2:45 maybe.
Yeah. Something
And
in
I
there.
still had the third fastest lap of the weekend.
Yes.
So
That was the car that had the steering wheel that had no supports in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
when I took that thing off the truck, it had a broken steering wheel that had nothing that was supporting it.
Oh yeah, I fixed that. Yeah. Yep. I forgot about that. But anyway,
But that's still not pushing your speed.
it
That's
wasn't
pushing
pushing my speed. So this year, you're gonna see me off track. I'm gonna end up spinning. I'm gonna end up going off track,
Okay.
finding the limits of the big limitation. And not that I'm an amazing driver, but the big limitation that we're gonna find with what we do is the tire limitation.
Mhm.
200 treadwear tires only have so much grip.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm gonna find that limitation pretty quick. I mean, the RS4s are easy to find the limitation on, but some of the other ones, it's a little bit more. So I have a feeling I'm gonna probably. I've been black flag free for a number of years now, so I have a feeling I'm gonna get a couple black flags this year.
Not by goal, but
Right.
Yeah.
Just pushing and finding that limitation.
Okay. Sorry, Con. Had to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah. You're good. You're good. What's the highest you've ever placed in an endurance race?
6 overall, 106 cars.
Okay.
We won our class. We were sixth overall.
What class?
Okay.
Class B.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a feat, right? It's not speed, it's strategy
Right.
and consistent execution. Part of that execution is part of your goals, right? Of staying clean, keeping the car together, that kind of thing. I get that part. And the reason I asked are your goals scratching your itch? Because now you're going down a speed hole, okay? And you're an endurance racer by trade, but that doesn't behoove endurance racers all the time, right? It
Right.
has to be a very calculated, measured speed increase. And Bill has typed in here, and I want to know why endurance racing over sprint racing?
Well, I sprint raced motorcycles. I love endurance racing because it's the seat time, just the sheer seat time. I did, I'll do hour and a half to 2 hours in a car, which most sprint racers, that's a whole weekend. Right. And
Right.
that's one stint on Saturday. I might take 2 stints on Saturday. Right. So for me, it's the it's the best bang for the buck, right? I don't have deep pockets, so if I can do endurance racing and be out on track for 3 times the amount of time for half the money, that's why I love it.
Right, but you're you're I feel that you may be trying to turn endurance racing into something it's not if you try to take your goals and focus on speed.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm going to focus on speed so much in endurance racing, but um, I'm going to be doing a lot of track days. I've already done
Okay.
one so far this year, so it's I'm gonna be pushing on those HPDE days and finding where some limits are. It's
Okay.
not necessarily so much in endurance racing, but in those track days where it's there's not 100 cars on track. There's 17 cars in your group, and you're out and pushing.
Okay.
I might look into actually a friend of mine told me I should look into ST5 this year, so I
Yep.
may look into that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as the field is large enough, right? So if the field is large enough, it's worth it, in my opinion.
Right.
So
And there's a sprint. You have to go, as fast as you can from start to finish.
yeah, I'm assuming that's a NASA Northeast thing. So you're looking at 30 to 40 minute races.
I believe they're 30. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that are close enough for me to go to.
Okay.
Where are we
Yeah.
going?
And
Where are we going?
Where are
I,
we
I'm
going?
not sure yet.
Where are we going? Where are we going, Jeremy?
I'm not sure
Thompson?
yet.
Thompson?
Can I
Thompson?
drive your car, Jeremy?
If they race at Thompson, yeah, let's go to Thompson.
Vicki will bring her number 23, not
I will.
E5.
Yeah, so it's the endurance racing is going to be separate from the goal of finding my limitations, right? My comfortable
right.
limitations.
Right. So let's talk about uh, your highs and lows. I'm going to assume your lows were your incident in the E36 BMW.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
That was my big low. It was an unfortunate weekend. It was an unfortunate start of a Sunday. And it was tough. It was tough to get through it. It's still in the back of my mind. It was a few years ago. But yeah, that was definitely the low. I mean, anytime something happens and my team isn't able to get out on track, for me, that
Uh-huh.
feels like I have failed my team.
Okay.
Um, so those are some of the it doesn't happen very often, but those would be I would say that's the next closest lows that I have, which doesn't happen very often. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 times, at most. Um, I think the highs are definitely when everybody is there, and having fun, and everyone is driving, and without trying, without focusing on it, you get to late Sunday afternoon of an endurance weekend and you go, wow, we're up in 12th place. We're in 15th place. We're in, 23rd. Maybe we can get to 18th, right? So those are always the highs of the weekend. Our big high was we did actually try to win our class. And we won our class, and I think we were 6 laps up on the second place car in our class, and we came in 6th overall. So I think that was our big high for the racing part of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about what is I guess what is defined as successful and non-successful weekends for you, but I think you covered that pretty well. What in the years you've been doing this, what's your biggest learning? Uh, what's the biggest thing you've learned? See,
This is going to
yeah,
be a generic answer. The biggest thing
okay,
I've
that's
learned
fair.
is that uh, you always have a lot to learn about being on a racetrack. You
Ooh,
always have a
that's a
lot to
good
learn.
one.
And if there ever comes a day when you think that you don't have more to learn, and for me, if I ever get to that point, my helmet will go on the helmet rack and it will stay there. It will not come back off that helmet rack.
Yeah. I you're put well, especially in endurance racing, but racing in general, the more time you log, the more situations that you're going to be put in, right?
Yes,
Uh,
correct.
whether whether it's from the strategy standpoint or the combination of cars in front of you, beside you, behind you, all of the above, the type of corner, the flags that are being thrown, all of these things are become a new challenge. Um, as long as you're willing to accept it. Some people are just like they ignore flags and they don't care about the cars around them. But
Right,
right.
right.
Um, and I think that's what brings people back to racing a lot of the time. But what has brought you back time after time after all these years?
So I'm going to be honest with you. What brings me back is the camaraderie of the pits,
Right.
the friendships that you build through the racing. Obviously, we all go to the racetrack to race, but what really drives me to get back to the track is to spend that weekend, that time with all of those friends that you only get to see, 4 or 5 times a year because we're all spread across the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides the racing aspect and the fact that I want to get there and I want to do better than my teammates, I want to help other people be better. It's the camaraderie of everybody that is there at the track because we're all there for the same reason, right? Because we
Right.
love being at the track. We love driving on track. We love helping people become better drivers. We love, helping people fix their cars when they break, whatever it is. That's what really brings me back to the track.
So there's a question on here that says the thing you were most surprised about racing or driving. I don't, Bill, do you have more context you want to add?
So, so the thought behind it was going in, you kind of knew what your what you thought racing would be like. What was the thing that surprised you? It could be either about the racing or the high performance driving, or a lot of people like Vicki and I have met. I can't even count the number of people who say, "Oh, I would be a great race driver because I drive a lot for my job. I drive a UPS truck or what have you," and it has nothing to do with that. And trying to
So,
explain to them. So
right, it's got nothing to do with that. So, I'm going to say the thing that surprised me the most is how difficult it actually is to place well, not just win, but to place well in an endurance race. It's not just what I watch those guys race on TV. I'm going to go drive because I know I can drive good and I took a race class and I'm going to go do endurance racing. It is incredibly difficult to place well in an endurance race. That's kind of what surprised me the most about racing and doing what we do as endurance racers.
Especially in Lemons, uh, the the atmosphere is for fun more than anything, at least from the outside. Me as an outsider looking in, right?
if only you
Right.
could go to a Lemons event. If only there was a Lemons event where there was a car, maybe even a Honda that you could,
Maybe,
maybe there's got to be one somewhere.
maybe even a Honda.
Maybe.
But you have to get everything right about the weekend, and probably some things have to fall your way, right? For
Correct.
you
In
to,
order to win, absolutely. And even
yeah,
place well. Even place
right,
well. So it's crazy at how difficult it is. Even what not just lemons, like Champ Car, Lucky Dog,
right.
AER, and any one of them, even AER where there's always smaller classes, right? It's still everything has to be perfect for you to do well in a lemons weekend, right? Or I
And,
mean an endurance race weekend.
and it's not just in the car, it's like in the paddock also. Your organization is key.
Yeah, I mean everything from pit stops, fueling, tires, fuel management strategies. What's the times that you're able? to pull out of the car for the fuel consumption. All the greater strategy becomes part of this game, right? That we're
Right.
Mm-hmm.
playing.
Yep.
And then you have to avoid, I don't know how many potential accidents,
Yep.
you have to keep whatever might be ailing your car healthy enough to survive,
Right.
you know, and still try to keep pace or alter your pace and then alter your strategy and then hope some more things fall your way. There's
Right.
a lot going on, but for me, what's the motivation to participate in this very large orchestra? You are conducting. Everyone is part of the orchestra, but and everybody has to conduct their small portion, right? What keeps you motivated to keep coming back to this type of racing?
I think for me, what keeps me motivated is that I have a large,
Beard.
um, large beard,
Yeah.
a a large group of family that I feel like if I don't do my part, I let them down.
Hmm.
Right. So that's one of the things that keeps me motivated to continue to do this because they all love doing it, and I want to make sure that I can continue to participate to allow them to continue to love doing it and myself. Right. The other thing is I just love to drive. I just love to be on track driving. And I don't care what it is. I don't care what I'm driving. If you give me tell me to get in whatever car it is, I'll get it. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. I'll get in it and I'll be on track driving. Right. So I just love to be out there. It's kind of, I'm not going to say it's my happy place, but it calms me. Like it's that place where I can go and I can just do what I love and just be calm and enjoy it and have fun.
Hey, you get your Zen moment at whatever speed and G's your car can go, basically.
Correct. 100%.
Awesome.
100%. And I feel like it's probably the same for sprint racing as well. You get out there, you have a shorter time frame, but you probably I feel like you would probably have that same feeling once you're in that car and you're like, "Oh, my buddy's right there in front of me. I'm in third, he's in second. I'm in my moment and I'm going to get him this time." Right? I'm not going to let him get the better of me this time. I'm going to play second. He's going to fall behind me.
Right. We to me, to be honest, the only big difference for me is the duration and then the decisions in the car. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like cutting somebody off or dive bombing somebody or anything like that. We like to play nicely. We don't like to do body work in sprint racing.
Right.
We're notoriously anti body work people, right? Okay, supposedly supposed to be anyway. But if I've got a lingering check engine light that comes and goes, I'm not coming in, right? I don't have an 8 hour window to have somebody figure it out, every hour on the pit stop. I have 30 minutes, right?
Right.
So I'm going to live with whatever the car is giving me and make the decision. I've literally made the decision when my check engine light came on. I was like, well, if it doesn't blow up, I really don't care. We're just going to keep the hammer down because we need to maximize the points in this 30-minute race. So, 10 minutes into the race, I go from 200 horsepower down to 160 horsepower because I'm in limp mode and I'm not stopping. I'm not pulling in.
Right.
It's not happening, right? But I made that decision. It's a
Yeah.
little different in the, there would be some strategic stuff, communication going on in the radios, right? Hey, we
Right.
went into limp mode. We're way down on power, uh, you guys would have to make that decision. But in sprint racing, there is no decision. If it isn't blowing up, you're going to keep sending it because there's no
Yep.
reason to pull in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have a left field question because I just trimmed my beard. What do you have a special balaclava to keep all of that like in? That big beard of yours? Is there like
I
a
I
special one you use?
I have my regular Alpine Star one, and it covers it enough, and it pulls it in enough that it it stays.
Did you ask your wife for hair ties or something to like bind it up so it'll...
I
He
have
he
actually done
braids
that
it.
before. I've
He
put a hair
braids it.
tie in it before to hold it in. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I have
All
done
right.
that.
Just making sure.
When he takes his helmet off, the beard points upwards, like
What?
like
Yes,
the
it
like
does.
the
It
low
goes.
It
max.
does.
Yeah,
Oh, split
So
on the
yeah,
side.
yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
the beard will be gone. You'll know I'm under 200 pounds when the beard's gone.
You know,
Okay.
if you cut off your beard, you might lose like 5 pounds right now.
I'm 24 pounds down
Okay.
right
Nice.
now.
Nice. Um, okay. So I'm gonna skip the other two questions that Bill typed up there, unless he wants to throw them out from left field too.
Nope.
But
You never know what I do.
so what is your current plan? You mentioned doing more HPD track days, things like that. But what is your current plan this year? You also said it hasn't started. It's mid-March, but I guess you're way up north, so
So, 3.5 weeks, we head to Pittsburgh for our first endurance race for Lemons.
okay.
Last week, I was in New Orleans instructing for a 3-day event.
Hmm.
Friday, I went to Thompson to instruct first weekend, or first day I was able to get out was Friday. So I instructed Friday, had a great student, learned a lot, and asked a lot of questions. Wanted to know why we were doing the things we were doing on track. So it was amazing. We tested our new this winter build BMW for Lemons, and it's kind of a hoot actually because the car has heat, it has AC, it has the stereo, it has all of the vents. I mean, everything that a street car has to have, turn signals, you name it, it has it, and it's a race car.
Really, really.
So the current plan is, due to some sporting events, I am going to have to miss a race weekend. But I have on the schedule right now 4 races, potentially adding a 5th, and that includes missing the one that I really wanted to go to. And I have, as of right now through June, I have, I think 6 4-day events already scheduled for instructing and being on track.
Mhm.
So I have also spoken with one of our local organizations, and I am going to go help instruct with them a lot more, which gives me more time to have my car on track as well.
Okay. So this is kind of so you're going to stick with mostly what you've been doing, right? The driver experience, some HPDE, and then as much Lemons as you can throw in there, right?
Yeah, Lemons, AER. We have Lucky
Okay.
Dog. Yeah, so not just Lemons, but more, more endurance series as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But I am going to look into this year. I am going to look into ST5, because I do have a car that we are building for AER, but I believe it would be, I could race it in ST4, ST5. So I'm going to look into that to do some sprint racing.
Well, I can tell you there's a big difference between 4 and 5. So,
Right. This car is going to be crazy, so that's why I say potentially 4.
okay.
It's
All right.
it's a pretty wild car.
Okay. It might need to be there's some wild ST4 cars out there. But this section is what I really wanted to talk about. Bill made me wait 40 minutes or whatever
I
into
didn't
this,
make you
but-
wait. We just have a skill at babbling, Con. You know that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you and I get together, Bill, it's a little crazy. But
A little bit.
let's talk about your thoughts on your driver skill level. Now, nobody sent me a bunch of tapes, so I didn't get to review anything. But
And
I
you
want to
did
talk
you
to
did
you.
want some. So I was going
I,
to send you
I
Vicky's first time ever on track and just make you very concerned.
I don't actually want her first time on track. I'd prefer something more current so we
Oh,
can
I was going
talk
to say it
about
was current. I was just going to tell you it was current.
No.
it.
Sit down.
That's not right.
But
Sit down.
let's talk about Jeremy, let's talk about what you think your strengths are as a race car driver.
I don't like this game.
Oh.
I don't.
But here comes humble Jeremy. I grow a good beard.
Yeah. So one of my big strengths, and I can say this, one of my big strengths is definitely managing traffic. So I very early on,
Coming and going.
coming and going.
Okay.
So very early on, I had a guy that was incredibly unbelievable driver. And he was just consistent after consistent after consistent lap. And it didn't matter what the traffic was like. And so I was like, I want to drive like him. I want to be able to manage traffic and tick off the same lap times every time, just like that. So I spoke with him. We spoke for a few hours. So, I've become, he just kind of, you really have to pay attention not to a corner or two in front of you. You need to see the entire track. You need to always know where every car is, whether they're in front of you or behind you, no matter what you're doing out on track. And so I think that's one of my big strengths is I can manage traffic very well. And that's how I am able to, tick off lap after lap that is very, very close. I don't know. I really don't like this game.
So that's important, especially for the game that you play, right?
Right, right.
And to be honest, it will benefit you if you try ST4 or ST5 because likely you will not be the fastest car out there. Not just in the class, but on track because it's a shared
Right.
track,
It's a shared track. Yeah.
multi-class racing essentially. And so, um, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what discipline of racing you go in, at least road racing wise. If you understand and are good with your mirrors, and then can translate that to go, okay, when I'm looking ahead, I'm not looking ahead to the next corner, but I could be looking around that corner to the next open area and go, that's turn 8, arbitrary. Turn 8, car such and car such and such are there. Next time around, you can see them a little bit earlier than 8 and then go, okay, I'm pacing to get them in 5 laps, 6 laps, right?
Yep.
If you can do that, it's a benefit. It is absolutely a strength. But are there other strengths that you think you have?
I mean, I'm a capable driver.
Okay.
I'll just say that. I'm a capable driver. I I I can be what I need to be on the brakes when I need to be on the brakes. I can come into a corner very hot when I need to come into a corner very hot, rotate a car around and get out of that corner because I can't just, the other car might be more powerful, so I've got to do a different strategy coming into a corner. So I I'm not going to sit here and do one of these, but I'm a capable driver.
Okay.
I can catch a car when I need to catch a car.
Humble Jeremy, shut up. If
Oh.
if we break down driving, let's just break it down in a couple things. Scale of 1 to 10. How are you at braking? 1 to 10. Just give me a number.
10
As
being
good
the
as I need
best.
to be in the circumstance.
That's not a number. I think when I was in first grade and I learned how to count, that wasn't one of the ones on my fingers. 1 to 10. Where you at?
It depends on the car.
Jeremy, you're killing me.
It's, I I'll give myself a 9.
9. Okay. Lies,
Okay.
but that's fine. What about racecraft? How are you racing people? 1 to 10.
A 9.
Okay. What about exit speed? Or let's do corner min speed first.
I'm a slow in, fast out kind of guy.
Not every
Um,
corner likes that,
right.
but go
Not every
ahead.
corner is that. Mid corner speed when I need it to be fast, I can make it fast.
Not a number.
Let's go 8.
Okay, 8. Okay. How about exit speed?
Let's give it an 8.
Offline corners.
I'll go 9.
Okay. Con, did I miss anything important?
Mm,
We do rolling
no,
starts. I was going to do starts, but we do rolling starts. So.
you guys do
But again,
rolling starts.
this is all relative. This is what I feel about myself,
I know.
not
Right.
against
Uh,
other people, right?
Okay. So which one of those things do you need to work on the most, Jeremy?
All of them.
Okay.
You
So,
you're impossible.
so
Why did we start this series with him, Con? Why?
I don't know. One to 10, how comfortable are you 1 to 10 in close quarters racing?
10.
Okay.
Like reach out, close a friend's mirror on them. Close
Yes.
quarter racing? Yes. Yeah, 10.
Okay. How comfortable are you 1 to 10 in playing exactly by the rule passing rules without 1 inch given any other way?
I'd say a 10. I'm comfortable.
Okay. I
You don't play that game though, typically.
Yeah. I'm comfortable when we need to be, but we don't
I
typically play
Like
that game.
NASA rules is what, 3/4 of a car?
3/4 of a car width.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
So
usually much nicer than that, Jeremy.
I will so and this is maybe we get into weakness, maybe we don't. But one thing from the endurance racing I've seen, definitely not participated in,
You know, there's got
is
to be a
that
way.
I
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
Bill. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That in endurance racing, you guys give each other more berth because you have to make different durations of racing. In
Correct.
in sprint racing,
You
we
can't do
don't
that.
we don't give birth very well. And and sometimes that 3/4 is a half,
Mhm.
right? And and sometimes reaching out and folding their mirror, I don't even have to reach out and fold their mirror. I use my mirror to fold their mirror.
Right.
Like I mean, we love door donuts. It's what
I
they
do
do.
too. I love them. I can't wait for them to be on my
What?
new car.
No, no, absolutely
I
not.
love them. That's when
Vicky
you know
says
you
this.
had a good battle.
Yes, Vicky says this with a spec Miata as her background.
Yeah, she's gonna learn real quick when she goes to a Spec Miata race.
Yeah,
She's not going to like
Vicky,
it
Oh,
though.
Vicky, what Rust-Oleum rattle can color is your car?
oh, let me see. It is copper.
I don't think they make that in rattle can.
No,
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
no, they do not.
Okay,
They
all
make it in
right.
sheets.
Yes. Oh, in sheets. Okay. Well, all right. Um, I I
So I'm very
believe.
comfortable in all of those
Okay.
scenarios.
Um, they don't. They play exactly to the rule in sprint racing, and I'm not sure I'm able to translate it well to you. Like, I'm coming. I'm going to lap a slower car, and because they're technically ahead of me, they will cut down on me
Hmm.
because my bumper has not cleared their door or come
Right,
up to their door to take the line and make me go around the long way.
right.
Just the sheer amount of intimidation that goes on in a 30-minute sprint race is absolutely a tactic.
It's a huge
That
mental game, right?
yes, absolutely. So I think you think you're strong at it, but I think you might get tested if you step
Oh,
into
I'm going to
that.
be very tested. I
Okay.
Ah,
I'm saying I'm strong and comfortable with what I do now.
Right.
Um, right. In in sprint racing, I'm going to be very tested with all of these things. Um,
Yeah.
and I love door donuts. I love a good battle. Like there's nothing like having someone that is equal, and you're doing one of these things. You're kind of bump drafting down the straight. For 15 laps before one of you get through traffic quicker than the other and disappear, right? Like that is one of the really really fun things about racing that I really love.
Okay. So, all right. We've gone through your strengths. You think you're a pretty strong driver,
For
um,
what I do,
for
for
what
what
you
we do.
do. So, what is your weakness as a driver, or multiple weaknesses as a driver?
Mustache.
This yeah, the
covering
same
his
thing.
beard in a helmet.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's the same thing as my strengths, because I don't know where that limit is, right? So I know where my strengths are in the limitations of what we're doing. Um, but those are also my weaknesses, because what if, right? There's always that what if, right? So I'm also um one of my weaknesses I know is I'm not going to say I'm the nicest guy on track, because if we are battling to make something happen, I'm not going to be super polite, but I am very very polite on track.
So, sniper time. So,
Uh-oh.
Mr. Jeremy, um, I think you have the same problem as one of our friends, and possibly including me, is that we've gotten to a point where we can do the same lap over and over and over and over and over very comfortably, as close as you want. Don't care how many cars there are.
Yep.
Keep doing it. Not going to hit anybody. You need to push somewhere. Doesn't have to be in a lemons race,
Right.
but you, I'm not going to say you've plateaued, but you've plateaued. Like there's very little more you can do to improve without pushing yourself to find out where you break. Not
Right.
your car, you.
Right.
And um, that's kind of where I was thinking, like, what's Jeremy's answer going to be? And I agree that you're very good at what you do. Like you can do what you can do every time, hundreds of laps, twice a weekend, maybe three times a weekend, depends on the weekend. But I don't know that you have unexplored capability that you've never even seen by
Yeah. And
choice.
that's why I want to start doing some sprint racing. I want to start looking into that this year to see what I can do, what can be done, where my comfortable limit is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's the big thing for me. I don't have big pockets, so my comfortable limit has to be an area where I'm not losing a 30, 40, $50,000 race car in a weekend,
We should
right?
go to
Or even a
Gingerman.
$10,000 race car, right?
We should go to
So
Gingerman.
yeah, yeah, let's go to Gingerman. But I mean, I like I said before, I have a lot to learn. I think that every single person on track has a lot to learn. I can say that I do what I do in the endurance that we do. Um, so it it's the limitation of what we're doing at the moment
Yeah.
is
And
is
Lemons
where that
doesn't want you to
limitation is.
push your limits. That's not the point.
So right. And again, the same strengths that I have are also the same weaknesses, because I don't know where that limit of braking is. I don't know where that limit of mid corner speed is. I don't know where that exit speed, the limit of exit speed is.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm totally content with that uh, at the moment, right? Because
Right.
I love turning laps. I just love being on track and turning laps.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't do the other stuff. I'm just saying you haven't done the other stuff. So I'm looking forward to you getting some AAR time and getting some Lucky Dog time. And both of our cars have a little more capability than our normal Lemons car.
Right.
And let's go see what they are. It'll be fun.
Right. Let's go see where our capabilities are. Let's go do an ST5 race and see
Yeah.
where we can do what we can do.
Mhm.
Where we can place.
Right. And we will. Do you have anything that you're going to shake things up with for this upcoming season or next few seasons? Is there anything that you're looking at, you'd like to, dig a little deeper, spend a little more time? 'Cause
Not really.
I have
Uh,
ideas.
I mean,
You have ideas.
I think that we're going to have a lot of fun this race season with both vehicles that we have.
Mhm.
The truck and now the BMW that we're going to be having entering into the chat, shall we say? So I think this season it'll be a lot of fun. We're not going to really shake things up, other than we may miss a home race to go somewhere else. I think that's about as big of a shakeup as we may come with this year.
Okay. What about racing license?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get that this year. Okay. There's our shakeup right there.
All right. What
I'm gonna
about
work towards getting my racing license.
we worked with a friend of all of ours, all four of us. Kaan's back from his power failure. What about
What?
what about coaching? We had a great time and we worked with Miss Jackie.
Yeah, yeah. That would be a lot of fun. I would totally be up for doing some of that stuff in the future.
What if
Oh, she'll make you fast.
she will?
Oh yeah,
She'll cheer against me too.
She will.
Well,
She will.
you make
So
it easy, Bill.
I do.
Miss Jackie made it real easy. So we went
She's
last
very
year.
good.
She is very good. So we went last year to and we were chatting, right? The same thing. I'm an endurance racer. That's what I love to do. That's what I do. And so I went out. She looked at the data. She's first thing she said was, "Yeah, you are an endurance racer." I went out and I ticked off 7 laps that were within what, half a second of each
They were
other,
tense, yeah.
tenths of each other, right?
Yeah.
And she looked at the data and said, "Okay, well, here, and here, put your big boy pants on." And next session out, we were 3 seconds a lap faster.
Right.
So
No,
I mean,
she really is that good.
She's that good. She is that good. So if anybody on here is looking for to become a better driver, or a faster driver, look her up.
Low Buck Motorsports.
Yep.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah. So and that was just one session, 3 seconds right out of the gate, and it was within tenths of each other again, but it was just, this is where you can be faster.
So one of the things
yeah.
we talk about is cross training all the time.
Yep.
And just like you should probably get some sprint racing in. If there was any sprint racing people on this podcast, I would recommend that they perhaps should get some endurance racing in. Especially if it's at a track that they've never been to, and they need to learn it for a upcoming race this season that they'll be at, and it's a crossover event. I mean, I'm just thinking that might be a good idea. Just a thought.
I'm a huge
My life
advocate
has
for
to
cross training.
My life has to get in order, Bill.
Right.
Feels like chaos right now.
Oh, I know. That doesn't mean I can't torment you, though.
I know. Take shots.
It's my job.
We're
I'm a
going
sniper.
to, Kaan. That's why you came here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think one of the other fun things too, Bill, is we're going to try to shake up this year is I think that we're going to try to get a group of people to go up and do a rally course, do a rally school, shake things up a little bit more there.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We can always do that. That was recommended for Miss Vicki last season.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a totally different world of car control.
Yep.
It is, but anything you can do to make yourself better, like in terms of all of it, right, is good.
Oh, there's techniques, there's situations that you get put into, oil downs, debris, all that stuff, where the car's going to do something funky. And if you have a little bit of that confidence and muscle memory from doing something like a rally school or, skid pad training, stuff like that, it'll always help you.
Dirt track. Dirt track
Yeah.
guys. Those guys have unbelievable
Really?
car control on track. It is
They're
insane.
they're try it on iRacing, Vicky. It's
Really?
yeah, you'll be like, all right, I'm going back to the road course right
Yeah,
now.
I give up. I give up.
Yeah,
I
I
work
give up.
extreme experience with a guy who was a very successful dirt track driver, and his name's Dylan. He's a friend of mine, and to watch him drive a car is just it's mind blowing. The amount of control and understanding of what the rear end of the car is doing before it even does it. Like it's just wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, before this tornado warning storm knocked my power out temporarily, um, I wanted to ask, it, have you optimized the car and the strategy for the drivers you have? And have you done any testing to where you can tweak the car to, say, put down a faster lap with it, but also consume less fuel? Have you explored that?
So So with the current vehicle that we've been racing for the last few years, we have extorted everything out of that we can get. You can get 4 or 5 fast drivers in the car, and the car will turn X lap no matter what you do. You can't extort any more out of it. We've changed with suspension. We've changed, we've tried different things at the track. So I would say yes, we have done that with the truck that we are racing. I think it's going to be faster this year just because we're getting a new motor. So it's going to be a fresh power plant. So it'll have real, actual power that it should have. But with our current race car with the BMW, the first race is April.
Mhm.
It's been a good track car. We have played around with the suspension quite a bit in, street track rat trim. So I think that we'll continue to play with that car as the season progresses. After the race at pit race, we'll go, okay, well, or even in overnight, we'll go, hey, maybe we make the suspension a little stiffer, see what it does. You know, add a little bit more camber to it, whatever we need to do. But yeah, we do that a fair amount, just to make it better and more comfortable to drive.
So I bring this up because it was brought up on It's Not the Car, I think. Ross brought it up
Mhm.
about how he was coaching a couple rookie IMSA drivers, and they had a brake pedal pressure sensor on the car. And the engineer jumped in and said, hey guys, if you're doing whatever PSI of pressure, you do that very consistently, both of you. But if you do that, we're going to have to make a pad change in the middle of the race. So what we want you to do is knock that down by, I don't know, 10, 15%. Ross, get them to do the same lap time with 10 or 15% less braking. And I don't do this type of racing, and I don't know if that type of analysis engineering is done in your world, but
Mhm.
I was just wondering if you guys have
So
attempted to tackle that.
with our vehicles that we have, we don't have that kind of data that's available to us. So it's kind of on the fly, right? So when Bill challenged me to get more than an hour and 40 minutes out of that BMW, let's say we'll go back to that BMW, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went into fuel conservation mode. So I, instead of holding full throttle down the straightaway, I went full throttle about half the straightaway and lifted and would lightly brush the brakes instead of a hard brake zone. Let's call it turn one at pit race, right? Because everybody knows turn one at pit race, right? A light brush of the brake, carry more corner speed through the corner, lighter on the throttle out of the corner. Same thing, crest the hill at 2, full throttle for a little ways, lift. Let the car coast into turn 3, right? So that is, we don't have that kind of data to be able to analyze in terms of
Yeah,
brake pressure, but we do make adjustments in terms of like fuel economy and tire wear. We can make adjustments that way on the
But when
fly.
but when you went fuel conservation mode, were you still within half a second of your lap time?
Um, I was in fuel conserv no, but I was in fuel conservation mode right out of the gate. So I think I did turn a few fast laps, but then it was like, no, we've gotta back this off. So I think from the fast time, because we were trying to get so much more out of the car, I think I was probably a solid 5 seconds off
It
fast lap
wasn't
pace.
that much. It was like one and
Oh,
a
it
half,
wasn't?
1.5 to
Okay.
2.
But we got
Okay.
our pit stop was delayed by, an extra hour,
Right.
right? So
So you
so
saved
it
us
was
a full pit stop.
it saved a full pit stop basically. Which pit stops are 5 to 8 minutes or more, depending on what track you're at and how fast the crew is pitting.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to know. I heard it recently and I wanted to see had you explored that type of
Con, have you
um
explored that type of endurance racing? I'm just curious. I just,
no, but I do know my consumable wear down to the fraction of a millimeter for a race weekend. So
That's impressive.
mine
That
all
is
depends on
impressive.
how much I piss off Miss Vicky.
Ah, daily,
So
daily.
yeah, so we don't have. I mean, in our cars, we don't have. We're doing amateur endurance stuff, so we don't have the data and telemetry like that we can go. Okay, well, you need to stay at this lap, but you need to use less consumables to be able to work on that kind of stuff. Shall we say?
You know what?
Um,
Can I foreshadow?
Go.
There's a episode coming up on this Garage Heroes and Training podcast you may have heard about, where we will go into a system that's coming out that will allow us to do this at our budget.
Oh yeah,
Coming soon to a
coming soon.
theater, car, headphone near you.
I look forward to it because I'm
It'll be-
sure I could use it too.
Yes, I believe you can. I thought of you and Scott as two of the key people who would want to do this, among many, many others. But yes.
Yeah.
So have we tormented Jeremy enough, Con, or do we have some more? I mean, I love tormenting Jeremy. Don't let me cut you down. I mean,
I just I missed I don't know a couple minutes
yeah.
because I dropped off and I apologize. But
Tornadoes happen.
yeah, well the rain stopped now, so I should be
Yeah.
better.
When the rain
Um,
goes around in circles, that's when you got to worry, Con.
I just you should see the streak on the window, but whatever. The I'm just I want to know what you're going to do to elevate your game and what's your plan. It doesn't have to be this year by itself, uh, but what do you want to do to elevate your game as a driver?
I want. Um,
We talked a little bit about it while Con was on hiatus.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to learn as much different disciplines as possible,
Okay.
to become a much better person at total car control. Um, but I also want to get as much information from as many people as possible to become a better driver, right? So have somebody sit in the right seat with me and say, okay, well, you know, I know you like going slow in and fast out, but in this particular place, let's be fast in and fast out because we could do that here, right? Like just different things of hey, get back on the throttle just a half a second earlier, right? Just as much information as I can consume from as many people as possible is really where I feel like that's going to help me elevate to the next level and continue to make me a better driver.
Hmm.
Between learning the disciplines and getting information from as many people as possible that are capable of giving information, right? Because let's face it, everybody's got something to say, but is it information that's going to be well worthwhile if it's applied?
True. I mean, everyone has an opinion, and I hate to say it, the old cliche, so I won't. But uh, different perspectives can be beneficial as long as you're prudent in not weeding them out, but applying them to you and your circumstance. So
Right. And every driver drives differently too. So
yeah.
something that works for one driver may not work for another driver, right? So
May not work in that particular car.
let's talk about Cole Trickle here for a second, right? Um,
Rubbin's racing.
right. Robin's racing, but
Special match set of tires.
right.
That's right.
10 laps his way, 10 laps my way. My way was 3 seconds faster, right? Or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it is, but like,
Jeremy's got homework tonight.
kind of the same thing. Right. So, and that's why I say as much information from as many people as possible, because something that works for somebody may not work for my driving style or the way I drive or the vehicle I'm driving. Right. Rear wheel drive is completely different than front wheel drive. Right. So it all, I love the information.
Well, the other thing is we're starting to bring data into all the cars so we can
Right.
actually test these things and not be like, well, Sandy said we should do this and Bart said we should do that. And, maybe it's either one or somewhere in between and we can test
Right.
it.
And data and in-car video is going to make a big difference in what we're doing
Indeed.
and what we're going to do moving forward. I guess we don't know what we don't know.
I'm not sure I know that. Kaan's like, why did these people have a podcast? Why?
Why does anyone have a podcast?
Right.
Because we like to get together and just talk.
That's
Right.
We do this for us. You guys just listen because, you're here. Miss Vicki has nothing below her nose right now, but that's fine. I know the podcast is starting to get long on the wind when Miss Vicki starts.
Whew.
She's like,
Welcome back, the other half of Miss Vicki.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, Jeremy, do you feel well nourished and like a good piece of dough? You've been worked over a little bit.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've been worked over because, as you know, Bill, I don't
Jeremy,
like that part where
Jeremy, what are you good at? I couldn't imagine how much uncomfortableness you're just sitting there going. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of person to gloat about myself. Like I just don't.
Oh, don't worry. We got people who'll do it for you, Jeremy.
Right. I know I'm a capable driver at what I do. Right. Like that's the and that's as much information as I really want to give. Like so, it was tough. It was a good workover. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Jeremy's not but enough about me. What do you think about me kind of guy?
Yeah, Jeremy has very much golden retriever energy.
And beard.
And beard, he really does.
It's an old golden retriever though, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Kaan, thank you for entertaining us and agreeing to do this. It's been great help because I know that one, I couldn't do it to myself as a host because Bill, what do you think about? No, well, Bill, that's a good question. Right. And two, I did not want to end up in the bathtub or worse if I did this to Miss Vicki. So, I'm 3,000 miles away.
Too. I thank you for coming on and giving another perspective and asking, different questions that we normally would ask and kind of poking and pulling information. I like that a lot.
I try. The next time I need video so I can be like, shenanigans, your braking is not a 9. It's like a 7.2.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And,
right.
So
but I think, what I do, if I go into ST5, all that stuff's going to be a 4, right? Like
probably
it's
not
a relative,
4, not a 4,
right?
but yeah.
Everything translates, but the situations are different. And so
Correct.
You will answer the question slightly differently than you would in an endurance race.
Right.
But if you can break 10 out of 10, whatever that means, in an endurance race, you can do it in a sprint race. So
right.
They may factually be different breakings, but there's the out of 10 could
but
be comparative.
You find the limit of ABS or the limit of your traction of the tires, and you stay at that limit where you have that grip to be able to brake, slow the car down. It's still the same thing. You're applying the same, you're applying the same thing. It's just different racing.
Right. So in the sprint race for braking anyway, they don't care about it the brake pad lasting more than the weekend likely.
Right.
And they will duct it or not duct it, and as long as it brake fades on the last corner before the race is over, it's done its job. So they will abuse the crap out of all of it.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Where you nurse it a little.
Where we nurse it, we're trying to get the whole weekend out of it and hoping and praying that it lasts 16 hours of full racing.
Or at least
No
a full
way.
day. Yeah.
Or at least a full day.
Yeah.
Well,
Indeed. Kaan, thank you for coming.
anytime.
Jeremy, thank you for being a pinata.
Thank you. It was fun.
Job well done. Miss Vicki, don't talk so much next time.
Oh,
I'll bring a bigger stick next time.
All right.
yeah.
Well, you get to choose who the next one is. It's one of the two of us. So
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And
Miss
what are we
Vicki
doing that
looks really, really enthusiastic, though.
yeah, I think she fought the garden and the garden won.
Mm.
Yes.
So.
Well, that's the first full word she said this whole podcast. Anyway,
Kaan was doing such a good job.
I know
That's
that's
all
code
you,
for at
everybody.
least I didn't have to hear Bill for an entire hour this one. So.
right.
Uh,
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.